Team, sitting here with another important person who's going to introduce himself.
Hey guys, Tom Lee, creative director for Team Ninja.
Team Ninja.
Good to be here.
All right, and this is final round number what for you?
Yeah, so this is this game,
Mm.
DOA 5 last round. So this is like the final iteration
Okay.
of DOA 5. We've launched this game about 2.5 years ago, and we're closing the book with last round.
All right. So when you say close the book, I mean without giving the people information that you can't give them.
Mm-hmm.
When you say close the book, is it over, or is it kind of over?
The franchise is not over.
Okay.
But DOA 5, this is it. Like there won't be a 5 ultimate, ultra, whatever people are thinking. This is it for DOA 5. We'll let it sit here for a while until we go back to the lab and think of something next.
Change things up and make it better.
Yeah.
All right, but
Hopefully it won't take another 7 years like it did last time, but yeah, it might take. We won't have anything for next season. Put it that way.
okay. Well, but I mean, it is coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then that's all we need to know. Now, that's just game stuff. But what about you, Tom? How did you get here? How did you get on this couch? How did you come to? How did you get the job, man? Because a lot of people would like to know.
Wow, my story is long.
All right.
I don't
well,
know. Do you even have that time?
I mean, can you put it in a nutshell? Can you
All
put it
right,
in a
here we go.
nutshell?
Shoot. I think it was about 99, 2000,
Okay.
right around that time. Some guy came to me. I wasn't in the industry.
Okay.
I actually was doing something else in advertising.
Right.
And some guy came and said there's a show called E3 in LA. It's a video game show.
Right.
I think you got to come out. I went. Somebody else said, hey, I need you to meet this guy. He's from Japan. They're looking for a guy just like you. We want to put you in touch. And I meet this guy. Some goofy looking Japanese guy. He has very bad skin. Didn't speak a lick of English.
Right.
And he needed an interpreter.
Right.
Because he didn't speak anything. So I spent like a half day with the guy. And he was talking about weird shit like... Sorry, can I...
Yeah, go ahead. It's
Sorry.
too late now. You never did it. It's okay.
It's not a good representation of my team. I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll get rid of that.
Anyway, so he's talking about like war, tanks, planes, and all
Okay.
kinds of interesting things like that. And I was like, I thought you guys were in video games.
Right.
Eventually, about 3 p.m. rolls around, and he starts talking about this game.
Right.
He says, I have a game from the arcade system in Japan.
Right.
And we're bringing it out here. And there's this new next-gen console called the Sega Dreamcast. And there's like, we're transitioning our business from the arcades to this home console business.
Right.
And we're putting everything into this thing. If it works, we're great. If it not, like we're done. We're like bankrupt. We're going back home broke.
Okay.
But we're like, all our chips are in.
We're going all.
Yeah, we're going all in, right?
Okay,
And
right.
so that was his pitch. And he was so passionate, and it was very infectious. And he was like, you want to be a part of this? I was like, wow, like, you guys are just going for broke right here, and you want me to be a part? I'm like, yeah. Like, I want this. Like, it sounds very exciting. And so we worked our asses off, and the rest is kind of history. But that was my former sensei, Itagaki-san.
Okay.
And he became a rock star, He wasn't that guy when I met him.
Right, because I've seen him in Tokyo.
You've seen that?
Yeah, he's super rock star.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a normal pair of jeans in his closet.
Right, like I think his persona kind of, went beyond who he really was at that one point.
Yeah.
But he's a brilliant man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still a good guy. But that's then. Now,
Yes.
being the creative director,
Yeah.
at your job, what powers do you have that will make the game better and also make it more fulfilling for yourself?
Good question. Well, I'm one of many guys in my team,
Okay.
right? People think as a creative director I have all sort of a big, powerful position where I can do everything, but it's not the case.
Right. You have a team.
I have a team, and everybody has an opinion.
Right.
I represent a lot of sort of the things that resonates with North American players.
Okay.
I'm probably the last of the ninjas out here.
Okay. All right.
And that's another story
Right.
into itself. But that's what I bring to the table.
Right.
And I think in the last 2.5 years when we launched DOA 5, I've learned a lot
Okay.
from attending these events, just sitting down with our fans and the players and getting feedback. And it's very different from like the traditional sort of perception of DOA, or even the way the guys in Japan play DOA.
Right.
And I think it's also very different of what I was taught back in the day when Itagaki-san, his vision of DOA. I think things have changed quite a bit,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So, like for example, the presentation of female characters.
Okay.
I know that's a topic that is on the radar for a lot of people.
Right.
I'm very conscious of it. That whole Gamergate issue, the you know, whatever topic that's hot right now, gender equality,
right.
misogyny, all of it. I'm sensitive to it. I recognize it. Those are conversations that I have with my team. I'm telling them, you know, we are pumping. We are known as the guys that pump out
sexuality in a game.
Right.
Visual sexuality.
Exactly. And I, believe it or not, I'm one of those guys in my team that are trying to talk to not only my team but my publisher, my parent company, to tone that stuff down.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's doing us a service, especially here in the West.
Okay.
Like, I'm sitting there watching these kids play, you know, for the past 3 days.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of cats that play other games that walk by our booth.
Right.
And look over their shoulder and look at it. And when our players turn to them and say, you want to get in? You want to check it out? You want to play it? I know, like, by observing their body language that they want to, but they also don't want to because they feel embarrassed that they're playing DOA because it's known as, like, a boob fighter or whatever.
But I also want to say, okay, it might be known as the boob fighter, but I think there's also, like, there's a hierarchy that needs to be broken down. I think every game is equal. People play games for their own reason. If you play Street Fighter and you like Street Fighter, you play that game. If you play Tekken and you like Tekken, you play that game. If you play DOA and you like DOA, you play that game. You can look past what it is sexuality, okay? Like you can look past, like, if it has more minority characters. You can look past all that. I think people need to focus a little bit more on the actual game mechanics, the engine, and, you know, the heart of the game, and not so much just the cover of it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I also think that our cover is so flamboyant.
Yeah, it's strong. It's set the precedent already.
So it creates a barrier for a lot of people. It creates that perception that it's not my cup of tea kind of thing.
All right.
So I'm trying my best. Hopefully with the next iteration, we can change up some of that stuff. Because I mean, DOA is going to be sexy.
Yeah.
That's what it's known for. We'll have that, but I don't think we need to go so much to over flaunt.
Well, but don't put everybody in robe. I mean,
no, of course,
don't do that.
No turtleneck sweaters. And, no. It's not going to that extent.
Okay.
Like I said, it could be they're going to be sexy. We're still going to be promoting our female fighters, but at the same time, I think we're at that point where it's just kind of that objectification of females to a point where, you know, I have a daughter myself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It gets a little personal, you know, when she's watching something like this. So
yeah. I know. It's like I have 2 daughters, and, like, when you sit there and it's like, okay, sweetheart, don't do that. You know.
Exactly.
And once you become a father, that changes. But when you're a single dude, then it's like, you know, it's all to the wind.
Right.
But yeah, I know it's a tough subject, but, you know, I hope that you guys don't change too much. I think one thing, personally for me, just focus more so on making the game fun. Because, quite honestly, DOA is gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's a gorgeous game. You can't say it's not. It's been that way for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, despite the other, like, maybe outrageous mechanics that were involved in it, it's a gorgeous game, and you can't take that away from it.
We put a lot of effort into making it that way, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys in my team that like craftsmen, and that's all they know how to do, and they sharpen that blade every day. There's a lot of effort that goes into making that game look the way it does, so I appreciate that you put that out there.
No problem.
Yeah.
And, okay, so just for the people out there, and since you're the creative director, and, you know, if they wanted to come to you and say, hey, we want to put DOA in our tournament, we want to put DOA in our event, we want to put DOA in something, how should they approach you? How do they make that connection with you or somebody on your team to get that done?
Well, as a good example, like Larry or Biggie,
right.
you know, they've been very straight up and honest with me, and I appreciate that the most. They're also very sort of hands-on in the sense that I don't have a whole lot of barriers and all these other people to talk to.
Right.
I have a direct sort of line of communication with those guys. And they will hit me up almost on a daily basis about, I need this, or can you do that? And we talk on a very personal level, and that's important to me when we're doing business too. Like, I need to know who I'm dealing with. You know, in my line of work, I deal with a lot of people from corporate, and sometimes it takes me a while before I know what their true motives are.
Right.
But with guys like Larry, and like I said, guys like E, they've been real with me from the get-go.
Right.
And I tell them my limitations, what I can and cannot do, and they do the same for me. So with that as a sort of a groundwork,
right, basics.
Yeah.
Right.
When that's laid out, then I know exactly what I'm getting, and I know my potential. So that's important to me. Then I can go back to corporate and say, these guys are willing to go to bat for me.
Okay, good.
Give me some change, or give me whatever I need and help me out.
Right.
And that's been kind of the way things have been rolling.
All right, all right. And so this is your second final round that you've attended.
It has been.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So closing, my last two things are, what does final round mean to you, and how can I get one of them fancy chains, the fancy animal fighter chains?
Well, the fancy chain I can hook you up
Okay,
with.
good.
No big deal.
Okay, good. Got that.
Final round for me, like I said, maybe I'm new to this, but it's the 2.5 years of me experiencing various events throughout our country. It just seems like this is the place for 3D fighters. Like, there's an energy. Like, I walked in here last night. It's not even like Saturday or Sunday, but there's this there's this energy that's buzzing when you walk in the final round. You know what I mean? And it's infectious. Like, I don't feel that when I go to other events, especially for 3D fighters. It seems like the 2D guys dominate most of these.
That's the
events.
hierarchy again.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So it's very special in the sense that I feel like this is that place where the 3D fighters have their stage and their moment. And us being part of that community, I want to grow it too. And I've said it last year, I think, where I feel like the 3D fighters should unite, and there should be more conversation and more collaboration. Like, I talked to Mark at Mad Cats. I said, you're big with Harada-san.
Right.
Like, let's start a conversation.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens, because the 500-pound gorilla, we all know, is the 2D guys.
Right.
But I think if the 3D community can bond together somehow, and
there's no reason why they can't make something as big, or if not bigger.
we should be able to challenge the status quo in the FGC.
And competition is good.
Yeah, right. It's what it's all about.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Right.
And I think it's important for people and the leaders and the notable guys in the 3D communities to have that conversation. So that's what I'm hoping for.
And you know what? Let's make it happen.
For sure.
All right. Final round 18. We'll see you.